All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan, and today we are back for another simple signals stream. Okay. We've got lots to go through today. The market has gone, like, super right now, okay? As you can see, 65,817 right now. Let me refresh the page to make sure we're on the latest price we are. Yeah, exactly. 65,817, 5.3% up in 24 hours. Actually pumped proper good right now, so pretty excited for this. It's going to be a great stream, okay? We're going to do some actual proper TA, because obviously last stream before, we weren't really doing much. We'd already given our opinions, or my opinion anyway, on what we were doing. And obviously, you know, now we've actually done something, I can give some new TA. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully you guys are too. And if you're new to the stream, consider going down, liking and following the stream. Obviously, don't do it just yet, because you might hate me. Okay, you might think I'm the worst streamer known to man. That's okay. But consider going down there. And for everybody, if you're not on Telegram, if you're not following Twitter, go to the description, wherever you're watching. Really useful links down there. They wouldn't be there if they weren't useful. So do go check them out as well. Other than that, go over to the YouTube chat. I don't know if the Binance chat's been, you know, stopped for anything, because it is a pile of crap over there. As opposed to spam. Although, last stream apparently was okay. I don't know myself, because obviously I had it turned off because it's a pile of trash. So if you do want to come talk or ask, you know, questions or you know, suggest a coin. Obviously, last stream we were dead on 10 o'clock for the ending, so really good. Obviously, I'm 5 minutes late for the intro. Do apologize for that. But you know, we got through the stream on pretty much dead on 10 o'clock, so I was really impressed with myself, because I never am on time at all. So if I by any chance am, you know, somehow early to end the stream in terms of Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum, then do come suggest coins. I will try and cover them best I can. And other than that, you know, I think that's pretty much it, actually. I'm trying to think of anything else to say. Enjoy the stream, okay? I try and make these a bit lighthearted. It can get complex. If you're first time watching, the charts can get complex, okay? So, I'm going to say it's nice and slow. I'm going to try and speak slower this stream, actually, because sometimes, some streams, I speak very fast. So I will try and speak slower for everybody. Not in an insulting way, but as in like I understand, you know, I am a very fast speaker. So, let's take it slow. Let's go through some prices. Let's go through some percentages. See what's going on. Then we can go to the charts. Let's have a look. Okay, so 65,885 right now, basically hitting off that 66 mark, which if you have been watching, we all know is a very important mark, especially 66,330, I believe it is. Again, a very important mark as well. If you know, then you know. If you don't know, we will get to know. Okay, so 65,885 right now, 5.38% up in the 24 hour, pretty good, and the 4.23% up in the 7 day. So really good upwards. We've recovered all we had. Obviously on the 7 day, obviously is an accumulation of the past 7 days of movement. Obviously accumulating that upwards, we are now up 4%. I believe we were down at one point. So really nice movements upwards to get to that point of being positive. So really good there. 0.16% up on the 1 hour. We're really flying right now, which is really good news. We will probably look at the ideas as well on the Bitcoin chart. I like looking at sometimes, just seeing what other people are going to be looking at on the charts. But Ethereum as well, 2,629. We broke above that 2,400 mark. We've broken up above all that resistance. I don't know. I think this value is within equilibrium. So like I was saying with Bitcoin and Solana, how they were at equilibrium trying to get above, or Bitcoin in Bitcoin's case was getting above equilibrium. And obviously in this case, we know there's different levels to the amount we've pumped. Obviously Solana and Ethereum I've pumped pretty good. I believe Bitcoin was already above equilibrium or fighting. Oh no, well, before this we broke below equilibrium. So that's why I've said this on like the past 3 streams now. The reason why some price action between Bitcoin and Solana and Ethereum have been different is because of that, you know, big factor of, you know, where that equilibrium actually is and where our price is relative to that equilibrium. So obviously we'll get into that in a moment. But I believe obviously Bitcoin, you know, broke above equilibrium before this pump, which has allowed us to pump pretty nicely. But now we're sitting at the high point of our, you know, array. So that's why we're only at this price. But with Ethereum and Solana, we were kind of fighting below equilibrium. So this pump has allowed us to break above equilibrium and then some, because of the fact we have, you know, different scenarios in the price action between Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana. That's basically it. But anyway, 7.4% up, 24 hour for Ethereum. Really good. I think Ethereum, obviously comparatively, over the long scheme of things, you know, comparing, you know, Ethereum's price movement based on percentage and Solana's, for example, Ethereum's actually pretty fighting right now. You know, Ethereum's throwing arms, not only hands, they're throwing arms right now. So really good for Ethereum. Really nice percentage right there as well. Obviously 7.8% up on the 7 day as well. Really good price action there. So all really good pump from Ethereum right now. And Solana is 7% on the 24 hour, 6.3 on the 7 day. So really good. Obviously it's good across the board, but with Solana, or Ethereum, really good. Really impressed with that movement. Obviously, if you have watched the streams before and you have seen my TA on Ethereum, you will know what sort of situation we're in, because the Ethereum was trying to break up into a new range. Bitcoin was getting stuck at its equilibrium. Solana was also getting stuck at equilibrium, but with Ethereum, it was actually in a different range. So it has allowed us to actually pump up a bit more because of the fact we were in a different scenario. So really good there. Really nice. Obviously, other coins don't really care. Doesn't matter. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Let's get into it. Let's go on to Bitcoin, the actual chart. So this is the 1 hour. A bit messy. I have shimmied over some things. Now, interestingly as well, this fair value gap has got flips. So obviously, as I said, these fair value gaps get formed in their respective areas and are going to be areas of good significance. So this is either going to be big resistance or big demand area where we come back into it. So as you see it right now, we've surpassed it. We came into it on the lower time frames. To be fair, we came into midpoint and then came down again, but we just came right back upwards. So really good there. Also, I want to look if there's anything interesting, on the latest updates, just because I like to do that sometimes. But anyway, regardless, surpassing all this, and especially surpassing these order blocks. And again, this whole pump has really allowed us to just completely get past, all these previous resistances we had, or had at the time, and finally get us back up to this area, this key area, which obviously we need to fight out one last time. So we're currently in like a setup stage, so we've surpassed this, important line at 65.6 or wherever this exact price is. Actually, I can probably shimmy this way and see it. 65.60, 610 actually is the exact price. So this is really a key area because this is the high of the range we're in. So basically, we have a range in between 65.6 and 59 down here, basically. And we've been in that range for a decent portion of time right now. Obviously, already fought once before. Obviously, over here is a different story. This is when we had that big old dump. But within this current context, after this big dump, we've only really seen this price area. We've seen twice now, which one was here and one was here. Also, we've had this really nice W pattern or double bottom pattern, which I drew a bit ago when we were, I think I drew it on Friday. I think it might have been the 11th of October, I think. Or I can't remember exactly when I drew it, but basically I drew this already. Has a double bottom, basically relatively equal lows for a double bottom back up to here, and obviously really nicely followed that through. Obviously, I'm not saying the pump is due to that, but I'm saying, as per chart patterns, has followed it through really nicely. So we've had good. I mean, our structure was really nicely going ahead this entire time. So we had this. Obviously, it's Monday now. It's Monday today. So my previous TA was Friday, I think. I think my last stream was Friday. So I think Friday I was talking about this fair value gap down here because on a higher range it was a fair value gap. So if we look at the TA I already did last stream, I was talking about this fair value gap being in the fair value gap area. I was saying what we could see is a low at probably either 62.129 to 61.7. That is our range of a low, which is a big low to be fair. And lo and behold, we were on the upper end of that range, because not only did we have the equilibrium to bounce off, we also had this big fair value gap, which was formed in the fair value curve area. Because again, it was a positive fair value gap, which is formed in the proper area or proper inefficiency, which was then obviously came into being backed up by the fact we had the equilibrium as well inside of this. So we had a really good support here. So I'm not surprised we bounced off this. We were already fighting here. On Friday we bounced. So we had a good structure of what I reckon, which was, the bounce off the midpoint of this order block, coming down into this fair value gap and then coming upwards. So a really good response off this fair value gap. You can see came into it and actually just completely pumped all the way back upwards into where we are right now. So really good fair value gap here. And remembering that was formed on a higher range. So this is going to be, respected better, again, on these higher ranges. Actually, to be fair, we also have it from here on the daily instead. So also a cascading kind of thing going on right there on the different time frames. So if I move it back to what it was, that's what we had on the 4 hour, which is also really well respected, moving upwards. We probably had some on the 1 hour as well. You can kind of see, actually even better on the 1 hour. You can see that this big block here, really well respected on the 1 hour actually, as well with this gap. The first gap anyway. So that was well respected as well. Anyways, coming into it on the 4 hour again. So we've hit off that, and I've had this massive pump all the way up to pretty much exactly. Let me go back on the range we're currently in. Pretty much the top of it of this whole pump is pretty much the exact top of this order block. So looking back, we have an order block. I believe it's on the 1 hour or something like that. Yeah, we have a big order block in order block area on the 1 hour. here. Is someone begging in the YouTube chat? No, I can't help you. Leave the chat. I don't want to see you in this chat. Leave. Anyway, going back to this, we've got this order block here, which obviously is formed in the proper order block area. If you don't know, basically we have these ranges, and basically each range corresponds to a certain kind of action within the price action. So this area is where it's always yellow. I always forget to change it back because Mike always changes it to yellow. I always change it back to purple. Anyway, we've got these areas where rejection blocks form, which are big wicks in the candles. Obviously, the next one up is order blocks. So that's all you really need to know as of right now. So basically, this whole area is where order blocks form. So basically, the ideology is order blocks which form in these areas are more prone to following through properly. Because, you know, if you look at order blocks, rejection blocks, fair value gaps, or inefficiency, whatever you want to call them, you know, all these different things, they form all the time, but they don't necessarily always work. So the ideology of these ranges and is basically a big old backtrack of testing these ranges against these patterns and seeing, you know, if they follow through or not. So it's basically just trying to give a more likelihood chance of following through or not. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We have one of these order blocks in the order block area, so obviously it follows through properly. It is followed through good. And you can see, even before we came to it the second time where we are right now, we already knew this was going to be good because we formed it, came to midpoint, came down, hit off the rim of it, and then came all the way down. So this was a really strong area of supply, basically. Really, really good, or a sell area resistance, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, coming back to it now that we know this is a good area, we shimmy it back down, and we can see really good bounce off it. Obviously, currently our candle body is below it. Obviously, that doesn't matter, as we know, but currently having difficulty in this area, as you can see. You know, with this bounce, really, really good. So that's our current situation. I'm not saying that's our full situation. That's our current situation. So anyway, that's pretty much it in terms of that regard. Let's see if there's any fair value gaps in these areas. I do have a lot of rectangles in this area. It makes it quite messy, but regardless, whatever. So this is where fair value gaps form. No fair value gaps there, but I want to see on the higher range. I want to see here. We already know this one forms here, which is obviously we now flipped. So obviously there's fair value gap, inverse fair value gap. All inverse fair value gap is a fair value gap, but basically moved on the opposite side. So we have that in this area. So even if we didn't have anything right now with this TA, we do have something back here. So this is going to be a good demand area where we're going to come back into and buy. So it's 65, 120. So, you know, at the time before we came to this, I was saying this could be either good resistance. You know, come to here, we probably come down if we do follow through this, which was the more likely chance. But again, you know, it is formed in the area. It doesn't necessarily have to be a surefire resistance area because, you know, they can get flipped majority of the time, you know. So, you know, we always have that risk involved with bearing in mind with fair value gaps. I always say, I mean, order blocks are more so, you know, there's certain different things you can draw or you can recognize which kind of follow through or not, and some of them with inefficiency you do have to watch out for them. You know, there's something you can't set them up, you know, a day in advance, 2 days in advance, because there's something where you kind of have to watch how the price responds to that area. It's not necessarily all the time where they do get responded or respected properly. That's obviously why you have inverted fair value gaps. But anyway, moving on. We are currently in this area. So if I kind of go through what we actually have. So we have this big blue area is basically a rejection block, which we have flipped. Because you can see we formed it, found resistance, flipped it, support, and obviously flipped it again. So this is going to be a good area of demand or supply, obviously flipping it or not flipping it. The orange area as well is also a smaller rejection block, respected properly though, because this is, you can see we have the candle coming into the whole of rejection block. So this orange line is basically the high of the range, and then this area up here is rejection blocks, and this area down here is also rejection blocks. So this whole area was covered by this rejection block. So we were going to have this big old, you know, demand and supply area, which we were kind of finding out, which obviously we had. You can see resistance at the top, bang, support, obviously support, and then obviously flipping it, and then obviously coming down again. So, but not only that, what I'm going on to now is we have a proper one down here, which only respects the lower side of things of support. So again, we obviously formed it, bang, support the bottom end of things. You can see how it's getting worse, and you can recognize this isn't always true, but obviously with order blocks and rejection blocks, you know, when you start to see a structure of, you know, or in this case, we can see even here, this is a good example on the opposite side of things. So you form it, you come to the midpoint. It's like, okay, cool. And then the next response, this is a good thing to watch out for, is when you only come to like the lower end of things. So this is, it's starting to get more and more sensitive as you go on, which is obviously a good thing if you want the strength of it. But on the flip side, obviously, as it gets weaker, you know, we formed it, came to the midpoint twice, and then we flipped, or we came to the top of it, and then came down again into the bottom of it. So you can see it's getting weaker here, where we're not only respecting the midpoint anymore, we're now only respecting the bottom of it, and then obviously, lo and behold, we flip it. So it's one of those things. But this is pretty good. It's not candle body print, so it's not got that strength to it, but we have a whole wick going through the entirety of this order block. And this order block was what kept us from staying in this range. This was like the whole deciding factor. Because what's great about this pump is we've completely just absolutely not disregarded, but we've flipped everything. You know, this one, for example, this is a breaker block. We came up into it, came down to support, and it came on. We were not messing around with this price action. So not only have we pumped, it's not like we've pumped past everything and we've not respected it. We've pumped past it and respected it all properly. So as you can see, this one, for example, this grey area is a breaker block on a higher time frame or a higher dealing range. So this basically means, well, to be fair though, actually this big candle did kind of stop us from touching this as a support area. So this isn't going to be a breaker block. So this green area is not going to be a support, just to say it. But the grey area is going to be support because of this bounce we've had. Because obviously breaker blocks, if you don't know, they are flipped order blocks which have to be came back to, basically. You know, so if you've got an area of an order block which you use as resistance a couple of times, if you flip it and then use it as support, it is then going to be support from the future. So just to say that. So this is really, really good. You know, this is really, really good TA to come back into this breaker block and then come up again. This is perfect. So we now, or I now know, or hopefully, obviously nothing's ever perfect, that we have this area of support really, really nicely. Obviously flips this fair value gap, one of those things. Obviously, and then not only did we flip the resistance, the big blue area, which is like the resistance-based area of sorry, I read a chat and got distracted. The blue area is like the big rejection block we had back here. You know, this is kind of the support resistance. Not messing around, we just completely went past it. And again, you know, we've never tested this rejection block, the orange one, as a resistance area. So we flipped this again. So now we know it's going to be good support. And then lo and behold, what have we done? You know, we've surpassed everything here, found resistance at the order block, and now we've come back to this rejection block perfectly. So if you go on the lower time frame, you can see the midpoint is pretty nicely on the midpoint of this orange area. Try and make sure I find the right area. It's this area between 6.5. It gets messy because it's like it's got blue and then it's got red, so it kind of makes like a different colors as you go. So you can see like this orange kind of makes this lighter red orange because it's all messed up because I've got so many rectangles, so I probably need to hide. But regardless, whatever, we're moving on. We have this rejection block which we've completely just came right above and then flipped it, and now we're using it as support. So really good. This is really good price action. So we are in the exact same scenario we were back here. You know, when we were 27th September at that time, when I was saying at the time we need to flip 66,330 and use it as support. If we don't do that, we aren't going to be using this new dealing range. If we don't use the new dealing range, it doesn't necessarily mean we have finally broken above 65.6 and using it as support. We don't have that. And we didn't do it. We didn't break above, we didn't use it as print, we didn't do anything, and then we came down. So we have a second chance now. This is our second chance. We are going to hopefully do it this time. Hopefully this bullish stride can continue onwards. The important things we need to do, it's very similar to what we did last time, or very similar to what I said last time. Because this order block, again, like I said, was the bane of Bitcoin's life at the time because of we had this order block. We horrifyingly formed it off the bat. You know, we came up, we were pumping. This was great. Bang. We formed it, came down. That's horrifying. That's horrifying news. Because it meant we had bang resistance, came down. It was horrible. So this time, you know, second time's charm, as they always say. I'm definitely not made that up. Second time's charm. It's not third time's charm, it's second time's charm. Remember that. So second time's charm. Hopefully we can see this break above order block if we can keep this bullishness. If not, if we don't have that bullishness just yet, I want us to, you know, continue to hold this 65.5 line or this 65, whatever the area, because it's a whole mess. It's a whole mess of support. But if we can hold it, then we could replenish our movement, our thrusters, and then hopefully break it back above. Also, what we have is we have this fair value gap, which we haven't truly, respected, especially on the 1 hour. You can see we completely went past it. So the 65.127 line is very important. So I know that goes elsewhere. So 65.6 is the bottom of this range. Okay, so you can see candle body print at 65.6. This is the high of, so in between basically 65.6, and all the way down here at 59. That is that range we've been in. But the highs can be used as lows, and the lows can be used as highs, depending on what range you're in. So currently right now, if we respect this, this will be our next low, which would be 65.6, which would be our low. So we can, and again, remember, we are not technically in the new range yet, so we can still come all the way back down. Not saying we will, not saying that's going to happen exactly, but you know what I mean. So really nice candle body prints above that. Obviously the wick down into support at 65.5. Really good so far. But not all hope will be lost if we go below these lines, because we do have this fair value gap which we've flipped. So obviously, you know, I'll eat my hat because I said, oh, we've got fair value gap here. It might be resistance. We want to be careful. If it comes 65.1, we might be careful to see if we've got signs of reversing. Obviously that was wrong. And now we're on the opposite side of things. So if one is not true, then hopefully the second one will be true, which is now an inverse fair value gap, which will then came back into and then shot back upwards again. Is a potential. So potentially not all hope is lost, because the midpoint of it is 65.127. So even if we break below these important lines, we still have this fair value gap which we could fill and then come back upwards again, because that could supply us with a nice pump upwards to finally break above this order block. And no matter what we do, you know what, I could close my eyes and not care about what we do. You know, I could just not look at any of this. The only important thing for me to do right now is to flip this order block, go above 66.330 and use it as support and get above this. Okay, again, like I said, like I always say, nothing's ever perfect. You know, there are situations where you can, you know, come up, use it as support, and then have like a lower high and then come down again. Okay, we need to have a proper structure. You know, we need to, like, you know, continue this. Let's say, boom, we need to do this. You know, like properly come up. You know, we need to have a proper move upwards. And once we have that, you know, necessarily what could happen, this could be a good sign as well, is we do this, we bounce up here, we're overextended, and then we come back down. But if we can do that and then bounce off of 65.6, then I would kind of, my opinion will shift then to be in this new range, which is in between 65.6 and 72.180, which was obviously, or 72.174, whatever it is, back up here. I want to see what other people are saying about the highs, because we do have this area. What I want to do before I also move on to Ethereum Solana as well is to go on to the higher time frame TA I have on Bitcoin, which is the really big ranges of 85k, 83k, whatever it is. But yes, I think I saw something about 68k. I do definitely have that in my trump cards. We have 68.290, 68.3, or 68.7. Basically, this range is between these two blue lines. So it's basically this whole area. Okay, I definitely think that could be the next area to come to of big resistance for Bitcoin. But as I see it right now, we need to get that move upwards. I think we have a lot below us to hopefully hold us upwards. We also have this order block, which obviously we have flipped once before and used it as support, and obviously came below it again, as this area here in between 65 basically and all the way up here. So hopefully we can use that support again, although we didn't do that last time. So I'm not holding too much hope for that in anything like super strong. I'm not saying, oh, we are going to flip it this time, but it is still something there. But regardless, if all else fails, we still do have this 64k support area down here, which should be really, really good. So not all hope is lost, because I think last time we didn't properly flip it. You can see we flipped it. We found it as resistance. We flipped it. We never came back, and then we fell below. I mentioned this when we dumped and we came below it, but this time's different. You know, you can see here we came up and then we continued to come up, and then we bounced off this one, and then came up again. But in the current scenario, so this is very different. This is wrong. But in this scenario, you can see we came to the top of it, came to the midpoint, and then came upwards again. So we've actually properly flipped it. So I think what's going to be different from last time, if we do come down, just as a precaution, that I think 64.3 to 64 is going to be good support, as opposed to what we had last time, where it wasn't good support because it wasn't a support area to begin with. Yeah, let me read the chat. Actually, can I see some chat messages? I'll just move the chat. I can't see. Also, the camera's not focusing. I need to like bring it inwards or something. I don't know what's going on. I messed up my whole UI right now. It's all messed up. 68.3, absolutely. That's exactly the exact same price I have. 68, yeah. That's weird. That is. I have 68.304. You have 68.3. I'm in complete agreement with you. Complete agreement with you. Absolutely, yeah. 68.3. Yeah. Chris, I lose all my capital I have accumulated, and when I have nothing, I find your video. That's good. I'm glad you found us, and hopefully we make you feel better. But I'm not giving you anything, okay? We don't give. Obviously, yeah, I think Mike mentioned it a bit earlier when you said, "Can you give me money?" Which I'm not gonna give you money. We do have giveaways though, so if you would like to stick around for the giveaways, we do give away money here and there. So, you know, I'm gonna scroll back a bit. I'm gonna scroll upwards to the top of the chat 'cause I haven't read anything, and I'll come back down to the latest chats. Kishan, I'm never surprised. I will never be surprised by Kishan being the first message. Obviously, my chat might be out of sync, but on my end, Kishan was the first message. Shout out to Kishan, obviously, as always. KB as well. KB, I normally see you when we exactly start. I don't know. I remember I have actually. To be fair, I did start 5 minutes late, but evening to you anyway. Obviously, I know you're here. Whatever. Obviously, the guy asked, "How you doing?" Very well, thank you. I'm not gonna give you anything though. Yeah, I'm not giving you money. Max, give me too, man. Shout out to you, man. Tariq, shout out to you as well. You know, you guys know this though. I mean, it's getting boring at this point. I need to get like a soundboard or something. You know, the actual goats right now. All of you guys in here are goats, okay? You know this. You already know this. I say this every time, okay? The guys who are here, every single stream. Shout out to you guys, man. Danny, even to you. You know what? It's nice. It's just nice seeing people's names. It's nice seeing like a common, you know, stream of people. It's really nice. So shout out to you guys, man. Jamie, what did you say actually? Let me go back up. 75 soon. Yeah, we do. I'm gonna go on to the higher ranges. I'm gonna go on to the higher dealing range I have because we do have different prices. So obviously we've got 68 free. Obviously you can see it on the screen. I can't see it because my chat is covered my main monitor. But in the background I can see it says 68 free to whatever it is, 69 whatever. We have that range. I have other ranges as well. Obviously the highest 72, 174. We have the what's it called? The expansion line, which I actually don't know what price that is. Expansion line is about 72.9. 72.9. We have seen above this expansion line before. We haven't probably held it, so we do need to hold it. You can see that we have seen it last time. If we go to the 4 hour, we have seen above it previously, but we've never truly held it. You know, we came up, and we came up. We didn't use it as support in terms of cannibalize, and we came right back down. You know, I think we had another pump above it. Maybe was that the last pump? No, that was last pump. Let me zoom in on this pump. On the one, this was good. That on the 1 hour, it was very, very well respected. You can see, you know, we bounced off it, and then we just didn't hold it, which was really, really unfortunate there. But on the hard time, especially on the 4, I mainly look at the 4 hour and the daily. You know, if we shimmy back to where we are right now, I am using the 4 hour and the daily. So we do need to have this print on the hard time frames. You know, obviously, because you know, if you're on the 30 minute and you're using the expansion line as support, it's not got that weight to it. You know, if you're on the 5 minute, the 15, the 30 minute, it's not got that strength in terms of the time frames. You know, obviously, you know what's going on in the lower time frames kind of cascade upwards, but it doesn't necessarily have that weight to it. But on the 4 hour, the daily, obviously weekly, whatever you want to look at, it has that, you know, gravitas to it, whatever you want to say. Anyway, 75 soon, yeah, definitely in that range. Obviously we've got 68, 8 up here. I am going to go on the higher ranges though, because we've got different equilibriums on different ranges. So I will look at that in a second. 86k in a year. I do have, obviously getting onto it, don't worry. 150, 20, 25. Are those different prices? Or is it 150 by 2025? Potentially, and I will get into it in 2 minutes, don't worry. Retail's coming back, yeah. Do you know what? It's so fickle. The crypto market, the crypto community, my nose is bunged up, and it's really messing up with my speech. The crypto community as a whole, fickle as hell, man. Honestly, I swear to God. The market be dumping. No one's in the chat anymore. No one's subscribing. No one's watching videos anymore. As soon as we start to pump really rapidly, everyone's back. Honestly, ridiculous. Exactly, yeah. Subs was dead. We've got 10 subscribers in 2 weeks, and then we've got 12 in the last 36 hours. Again, when and this isn't just our channel; it's everyone. Obviously, you guys probably don't care. I'm not going to yap on about this, but when crypto's in a bit of a pit, since that dump we saw from 72k when we hit the high of our range. Obviously, you can go back and you can see once we hit the high of this range. Where were we last time? Yeah, once we saw the top of the equilibrium, or the high point. I think was it here? It was here, wasn't it? Oh no, was it? It was here. No, here it is. Yeah, exactly. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? The general TA. Look, bang resistance, bang support equilibrium, bang came down, surpasses equilibrium, bang, equilibrium, bang, resistance to equilibrium, bounce, support equilibrium, resistance to equilibrium, bang, support and equilibrium, difficulty at the high, came down, support and equilibrium. Equilibriums, I'm telling you, equilibriums are beautiful. Actually beautiful. Yeah, ever since we kind of dumped properly, like this whole phrase of RTA, apart from obviously some of these pumps and like some of these pumps over here, it's dead. It's actually dead. And it's not, like I said, it's not just our channel. It's like the whole crypto community on YouTube just dead. Like no one was watching videos, no one was subscribing, anything like that at all. This is water, but really flavored, fizzy water. Okay, so don't shout at me. Okay, let me scroll back down again. 683. Okay, so I've caught up on the messages. I think also KB, it's fun actually when you do DTA because there's always a game of me trying to guess what your what's it called? What's the word of it? When you minimize a word into its capital letters, the first letter. I can't, you know what I mean though. I can't remember the word. Jeez, it's been a long time. But when you made these like the LGC and the VAH, I assume VAH is value area high. I assume that is like a constant area where you see many highs, which makes sense. It's going to be good resistance, and again, it is equilibrium on these ranges. If I go back to it, we already have this 68.3 right here, so we're definitely in big confidence with each other there. I completely agree. We had many failed attempts to close the daily above 68.3. Yeah, I mean, obviously for me, my ranges can vary between heights and sizes or whatever. But once, I mean, because in equilibrium, I talk about this, I've said this before a couple times. Within the discount, within the premium, within the equilibrium, you've got your main areas. But with equilibrium is a special place. It's definitely got its, it's got this like magic to it. When you start to get into these equilibriums, it does get a bit choppy. It can get very tight. Sometimes you can just bounce off it straight away. Sometimes you can just surpass it in support straight away. But the majority of times is you come into some of these arbitrary areas. You start to do this, and then you come down again. You do this. You see that often. There's a lot of like of tightness in these equilibriums. But from what it seems like, as you've said so far, I haven't gone too far back in time in terms of the history of Bitcoin. We did mention this last stream though. That obviously I'm on OKX, not in any favoritism to any exchange. I know we are streaming on Binance. I'm not on OKX for any other reason. I'm only on it because it's cleaner. No. It's because I've swamped like the other exchanges with a mass amount of trash TA that I couldn't properly draw these charts. Doesn't matter, whatever. Yeah, these areas like they're a mess in themselves. They're very messy. But a lot of the time, when you have a really strong equilibrium, is that bounce off of 68.3 or is that bounce off 68.7? It's those main areas. We're not out of the woods till over 68k. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, mine varies a bit. On the surface level, it would be once we're above 69 and we see a bounce off it, then we're getting out of there. But on the big area anyway, it comes up even far as 69.5. It's a whole thing. Remember Mikasa? I assume it means Sukasa. Today's thought of the day. I mean, yeah. I mean, again, that's true though. At the end of the day, it's like we're not magicians. We're not different from anybody else. We are. At the end of the day, everyone's. I'm not someone special. I'm just someone who's been doing it for a while. I'm not saying I'm some professional. I've just been streaming. Mondays, Wednesdays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. I just do it consistently. Obviously, because obviously Kishan absolute go. Obviously, my TA is never 100% right. I always do, stress that a lot in my streams. I'm never 100% right. Do make sure you trade off your own, judgment. But at the end of the day, I'm not special. At the end of the day, we are all very, very similar in our likes. We're all just people in the crypto community doing our thing. So, massive June news. Yes, that is huge. I think the grayscale, some of that grayscale is going on. Again, I haven't really read into it anyway. Let me scroll on a bit more. I've just about caught up to the latest of the chat. For Dexar Trust, yeah, exactly. Yeah, mate. Love to assume you want. Yeah, absolutely. That would be amazing. Yeah, KB, absolutely. I would love to do that. Set it up, absolutely. But yeah, no. Again, I'm not saying people in the stream think I'm a god. I don't. Obviously, I have a character. I'm the Oracle. But I'm not really like that. I'm not like, oh, I know everything. I'm 1,000 years old. I'm inside of the matrix. I know exactly what's going on. You know, it's a joke at the end of the day. You know, I'm not trying to make out people think that. But, you know, it's just something I want to stress. You know, it's not like I'm with you guys. Don't worry, we're part of the community. And then, you know, 2 months' time we get a big brand deal, and all of a sudden we've snaked you guys. You know, it's not like that. You know, we're a community at the end of the day. But yeah, no, a stream would be amazing, man. I really, really found that cool, man. We need to set it up. Yeah, going back to the chart, I will go over the higher dealing ranges. Okay, so we have obviously the main one, which is this massive one. Okay, so this requires us to go pretty far out. Where is it? Here it is. Obviously, this gets a bit, you know, it's a bit freaky. Okay, 90k. Okay, 90k, massive. But, and was it Jamie? I think the name was Jamie, I believe. Yeah, Jamie. I think what you said in that message was 150k by 2025. I agree with you. We have 154k up here. Okay, now this is like a really wide range thing on the charts. Okay, I don't really know how to word it properly, but basically this is like a really big range. This is one of the biggest ranges you can get. Okay, now this span, or this range in particular, spans like the weekly. Like even the weekly gets a bit, you know, messy. You normally go on to the monthly or the 3 month, so it gets a bit like grand. But the way I've been assuming to use it, because, and again, obviously I don't have the big historics of Bitcoin, because again, it only starts since 2018 because I'm on OKX. So I probably should draw this on a different exchange where it has more data. But, you know, as a whole, the way I've been assuming to describe this is you go to the top of the range, you go to the bottom, you surge above the previous top range, you come back to find support, and then you go up again. So that's what I'm seeing so far. Is we've used that support. We had a big fair value gap on the 3 month. I think we had a big fair value gap on the 3 month. We came to the midpoint pretty precisely. We filled it nicely, and now we're thinking it'll come up again. Again, we also have this cup and handle. We have the Wyckoff pattern B or whatever that, I can't remember what it's called. We have a pattern or something like a Wyckoff pattern, or like a structural market pattern, where it finishes off with a bear flag or a bull flag, sorry, which eventually sees a new high. But actually, I want to see if we do this, where does this bring us? Into here. This actually brings us to 100k. But yeah, no, I definitely have 100k. But as you can see previously, what I've already talked about, to find support or find resistance, obviously our structure so far has been this, or that was obviously not there, but structure so far has been this. Obviously found resistance, came to midpoint, found resistance again, came down, you know, and then we've surged it. So what I can kind of see going forward is obviously we've had this movement into the new range, finding support within the down here. Obviously the top of the range being 58,458, pretty big strong area. Coming into there, obviously eventually fulfilling this pattern to come up to 90k. Again, 90k is going to be very, very important as well, because of what I will show in a second. So you have 90k. So I think the same structure will happen. We found support here. We're going to find resistance here. We're going to come down again. Maybe come to the midpoint, resistance again, come down, 58k, boom, surge upwards, find support at 90k area, come back upwards again towards the next area at 154k, which is what you said, Jamie, very similar, at 150k by 2025. That's what I have. Again, I think the time frames are a bit out. This is all theoretical. This is very theoretical, actually. This is like mad scientist stuff, you know? This is like wireless electricity type of conduction type stuff going on. It's pretty crazy. But we do have the lower range, which is this one, which is 83k to 93k. So we've got this range. Also 104k, which is the other line I drew, which is if you go off cup and handle, this is what it is, okay? You draw a line from the bottom of the cup and handle to the top, and then you go to the bull flag, and then that line of height. Oh no, you draw it from the neckline, don't you? Oh, I forgot now, actually. Can't remember. I cannot remember. No, it is the neckline. Okay, so in theory, what you see is you basically get the neckline and then you draw it from there. Okay, so this actually brings 120k actually. So I'm wrong. Okay, I thought you did it from down here. I thought, oh my god, it goes 104k. This is brilliant. Okay, I don't know if 120k, but importantly, this whole thing, we've got a whole lot of things going on here. Okay, and a price we currently have was really, really nicely respected. So I'm not surprised at this dump. 72,630 was our big was the start of this equilibrium. Okay, so on this range, you know, spanning this entire length, coming all the way up to here, the equilibrium's here. Okay, and we've bounced off 172k. So this is going to be a really difficult area, but the surpassing of all of this will lead to 104k or 104.5k as we surpass it. But the important price to surpass is 93k or 94k. So if I think we have resistance at 90k, then, you know, I definitely think we're going to have that resistance here and then find support again and then come upwards. You know what I'm saying? I definitely think we're going to have that eventually. You know, I think it's definitely going to be something where we find some sort of resistance in here, come down, come up towards 125k, booms, doing something like that. Have this kind of oscillation upwards eventually. You know, these are just trying to map the prices to what we already have currently. We do have this red area isn't drawn for the fun of it because is it the month? On the monthly, and this is really, really big as well. I know I keep on going over the same thing over and over again, but this is really important. Really, really important. We have a breaker block. Oh, okay. We have a negative order block in the breaker block area. Now, again, this is where mitigation blocks form. And to be fair, I don't draw mitigation blocks a lot of time because I don't really see them often. I probably should do that more often. But basically, this is where breaker blocks form. That's all you need to know. Obviously, if you don't know what a breaker block is, I've already talked about it. It's basically a flipped order block. You know, if you've got order block of resistance and you bang, do this, when you flip it and come back to support at the midline, that is going to be a support area coming into the future. So to apply that to what we have a negative order block in the breaker block area. What does that tell us? So if we've got a negative, or we've got a resistance area at this order block, which is in the area where it's, you know, prone to being a breaker block, in theory, what happens is we're going to flip this and use it as support. And the midline is 66.5, so obviously we're going to have to use that as support. But again, 71.5 is going to be the top of it, which is also going to be big support. So what I can see on this month chart is going to be we've formed it, we've come down to this area, we're going to eventually flip this, come back to 66k as support. Maybe we bounce off 72k again, and then come back down to 66k, and then surpass it. You know what I'm saying? We could see that. We could see this bounce off 72k again, bang, come back to this support, bang. Because again, then people are going to think, oh my god, it's a double top. You know, it's a double top coming from here. We're finished. We're going down to 27k. Or obviously it's a bit extreme that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, maybe the end pattern is, you know, from here. You know, I've got an end pattern going on here. We're gonna come back down to 50k, and that's gonna fake everyone out because it's gonna be boom boom. We're gonna find support at 66k and then surpass this. Boom, 90k, bang, 140k, so on and so forth. So that's what I'm thinking on the future. I've yapped about Bitcoin again. I always do this, man. I always do this all the time. I always talk so much about one thing. I do apologize because I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Ethereum and Solana at all. I'm going to spend such little time on it. But to wrap things up and to stop yapping a bit, actually, let's go to 5.9. I think they've got an important range on this one as well, on the 5.9049, which also has 90k at this resistance line. So not only do we have the 5.914 whatever, you can see, and again, it's very price. All these ranges align up with each other, you know, really accurately. So on the two ranges upwards, this equilibrium is also aligned on the 5.9. So you can see 0.17 is 90k. But if you go to the 5.9, you can see. So for example, the 58k, which is very important, that was at the height of this range you can see here. And it also, the next range upwards, which is 90k, is one of the equilibrium lines in this range at 59k. So I think 90k can be a really important line, because not only do we have a line on the higher dealing range, we also have an equilibrium line at 15 on the 59 range. So we have really, really important things there. Obviously on the lower range, you got all your different things here, whatever. But again, like, on the grand scheme of things, we're definitely going to be seeing that 90k. But let's go back to the 4 hour to wrap things up. In terms of, we need to break above this 66.6 or 66.330 and use it as support. If we don't do this and find resistance, we have a lot of padding. You know, we've got this 60. We've got 64k. I think one of our low prices is going to be 64k. I'm not saying we're going to reach that, but I think if we're going to see us dump, or not dump from here, but really, you know, extravagantly move downwards, I think the low would be 64k, 64.3, that range. I think that's good. I think this breaker block is going to be a good support area. We do have this inverted fair value gap, which could supply a decent area of, or could be a good area of, you know, support. Could be a good area where we pump back upwards. So if we do need a cool off, considering how vast we've pumped, we could see 65.127 be the area. You know, so. But again, we do have these rejection blocks. As I see it right now, on a smaller scale, when we just look at, you know, this range up here, you know, up here, we currently have this range down here support. So even if we do need a cool off, I think we could use this support pretty decently. But again, I could eat my words, and we could, you know, surpass this and use it as support, and then bang up here, and then bang, finally reach 66.3 as support. But again, once we can do that, 66.3, we're set. We are set. We can go up, we can pump this and the other. I'm excited for that. So let's hope for that. Okay. Oracle on BBC soon. Maybe. That would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. That would be really, really sick, actually. You'll get there. It's a marathon. Bull Run should get us 10, 20k subscribers and go traveling to events. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely thinking about that in the future, like, you know, how we're going to do it. Because obviously, pretty much, because it's not only going to be a bull run for the crypto market as a whole, it's definitely going to be a bull run for our channel and its, you know, subscribers and whatnot, because everyone's going to be really interested in crypto. We need to know what's going on. Obviously, our original plan, which it still is, because of obviously all the videos and whatnot, and obviously my TA it is pretty out there. It's kind of like it's kind of hippie TA. It's like, oh, we've got to read the RSI or this data. We've got to read this, you know, this fundamental stuff. And I do completely agree with fundamental stuff. I'm not saying I'm dissing it, because I do look at fundamental stuff. I majoritively look at these ranges, and these ranges work for me and seem to work decently well, so I just stick with them. But it is, you know, a bit hippie at the end of the day. You know, it's a bit like, oh, he's looking at these ranges, this is a bit weird. You know what I'm saying? But no. Right, my point was, obviously, originally starting this channel and kind of doing content on it was for talking about crypto in very simple terms, you know? Is kind of not talking really technically and kind of doing things which people can enter into crypto for, like talking about what's going on in the crypto market, but in a way which isn't like yapping about all the technicals of it. We do talk about technicals. Obviously, you know, we do have technical aspects when we do our collective streams, when we do an actual one. Like, for example, we did one key. We didn't really go into too much detail, but we did cover what was important there, you know, in a nice manner. So the original aspects of this channel and the real, you know, link selling point was to be something people can access at the start of their kind of journey into crypto. But, you know, if that follows through with what we see, and obviously if we display that, because again, it's a lot easier to look outside. It's a lot easier outside looking in than it is inside looking in, if you know what I mean. So hopefully it does kind of still go off, you know, kind of portray like that. So eventually when we see this bull run, people try to get interested. If it's for their first time, you know, it should kind of potentially lead them down the path of our channel. So we should, and again, you know, everyone in crypto is going to, you know, increase their subscriber count and whatnot as we see the bull run, as more people get interested. So once we reach that point, I definitely will be going to different events and filming and whatnot. And what will be even cooler, which is obviously I think we've talked about before on the streams, is if there are any events where you guys are, obviously people from around the world, if there's an event or something like that, you know, and it's in your area or in your country and you can travel there, it would be brilliant to meet up with you guys, or meet up with one of you guys. It'd be awesome. And we've also talked about doing like a kind of like a meeting thing, like where we try to arrange something where everyone can, or the most people, the majority of people, why can't I think of what I'm about to say? That's weird. Where the most amount of people can get involved with going to a certain place, if you know what I mean. But I think it'd be great to meet one of you guys in person. Bell's spaghetti. That's the first one on the stream, I think. Also, I don't know if Mike's still here. It'd be great to know if Pretty has responded to your message for the wallet, because that would be pretty cool to know if we can still give it away again. I don't know if he's still here, but anyway, we've got 5 minutes. We've got 5 minutes. I don't, you know what? You know, Danny, shout out to you, BBC material. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. But I've spent 54 minutes talking about one thing. So, yeah, if I got a 3-minute segment on BBC or whatever, they might have to cut me off or something like that. But anyway, gone to Ethereum. I think I've got ranges somewhere. I think it's this one or something like that. Yeah. So, let's zoom out because I really don't remember what was going on. Yeah, here we were. Yeah. So we've got this double bottom. Yeah, so like I was saying with Bitcoin and Solana, and I think Ethereum and Solana had very similar scenarios. I think it was because I think both Ethereum and Solana were below equilibrium and below certain areas or something like that. I can't remember too well. On 243 though, we were stuck in between different ranges, which was very difficult. You can see here, obviously, we've came up and then found really good support in this area and then came up again. So obviously this was a good suggestion that we actually came up. You can see resistance in these areas especially, and then eventually surpassed it and found support definitely down here. So obviously we've eventually now flipped this area. And also we had this rejection block here, which we've now used as support. But Ethereum and I believe Solana both were in scenarios where they were stuck below equilibrium, and especially on the 729, which is a lot easier to see, which I'm going to use. So you can see both scenarios. And again, remember, this whole thing is going to be equilibrium. This is going to be where demand, or this is going to be where you're going to find the main amount of resistance and support in these areas off the bat, not looking at any order blocks or anything. So if we draw a range here, you can see, came into it, support, 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 flip, resistance, 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 flip. So hopefully we can have this nice, cheeky little support. And again, our pump has been so vast. We've now formed another fair value gap in the fair value gap. We've inverted this fair value gap. So this is going to be a good area of demand, support, this area. But in theory, we shouldn't need that if we can stay above 2,600 and stay here. So, remember I talked about coming into this fair value gap and finding difficulty, because what I thought would happen, again, this is a vast pump. Where's my chat gone? There we go. This is a vast pump, This is massive, okay? So it is really truly surpassed a lot of things we had fundamentally. So my expectation was we would come into equilibrium, find resistance at 2,567 here, towards 2,580, maybe come down again back into this rejection block at 2,526, and then come back upwards again. I was expecting to be a bit more structured and, forming highs and lows, but we've just completely surpassed it. And to be fair, it is my mistake, though, because, again, we had a relatively equal low, double bottom, which results in a vast move upwards. So, again, that's my fault. My chat keeps on moving. Don't know why. Whatever. So, yeah, we've had this nice pump. So where can we go from here? Let's have a little look. I should probably draw the bigger ranges on Ethereum as well, because I really haven't done that. Apart from Bitcoin, I'm really lacking. Like, I really haven't done a lot of other charts with these proper ranges. What can we see? Massive candle. Well, this is a breakout block area. Let me move the chat as well. Another 4 hour. Let's see what's going on. So we do have this order block back here, which is negative in breakout block area. So we've already found resistance and we came down. So in theory, hopefully what we need to do is break above this and use it as support, is what we should hopefully need to do. Or hopefully do, which we need to do and complete it and whatnot. But as I see it right now, what we need to do, I'm saying the same thing over and again, is use 2,600 as support, or stay above, the camera's following me, stay above 2,600. Once we can do that, that is really good news for us for Ethereum. That means we are above equilibrium. And it means we can now be in the range of 2,600 to 2,900. We've got a big old range there. Obviously, we've got difficulties within it, but this is good. So unlike Bitcoin, where we haven't properly got above that expansion line, we haven't truly got into the new range yet. With Ethereum, and I believe Solana, because I think they're very similar in price action, I think, or in this case, we have actually got past what the difficulty was. So for Bitcoin, the difficulty was the 66,300 area with the order block. That was our difficult area, which obviously we failed. Similar with Ethereum, the difficulty was equilibrium at 2,520. As you can see right here with this wick. You can see this was our difficult area, equilibrium. But now that this is where the dissimilarities of Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin come in, where Ethereum and Solana both have very alike scenarios, where we're below equilibrium, finding resistance at equilibrium, and I assume, obviously I haven't looked at Solana yet, are now both above equilibrium to hopefully use as support. Whereas Bitcoin, like I said, the difficult area back, when we were seeing difficulty, whenever it was. Oh no, difficulty was back here, wasn't it? Oh no, I'm thinking about the wrong thing. But regardless, the main difficult area. Oh no. Okay, no. This area in Bitcoin terms was the order block, but this is actually equilibrium. So in terms of where we were for Ethereum and Solana, the difficult area we were already at, which we now fell below. And if we go back to where we were for 27th September, here it was. So the difficult area. With Bitcoin, it was going to a new range, but with Solana, Bitcoin was the new range and trying to get back above. But with Ethereum and Solana as well, it's only an order block. It's just an order block. Obviously, it is a breaker block, but we've already found resistance at the order block multiple times. So in theory, we should now be able to surpass it. So similar with Bitcoin, if Bitcoin could do what it needs to do and surpass it at 66.3, and we start to pump again, I don't think we're going to see much difficulty at this 2,700 area. I think we could definitely flip it and use it as support, which then would lead to 2,700 being good support. But the difficult area for Ethereum Solana to go over again was this equilibrium. So now that we've already passed that, we've already seen what our difficult area should be, and we've already surpassed it if we can hold it, that is. So, I think we'll have a bit more ease of pumping and dumping and whatnot. Not dumping, but a bit more pumping and, you know, actual good movement in Ethereum and Solana, unlike Bitcoin, as we are currently stuck. So I think Bitcoin will definitely halter a bit as we see it right now, because we're in a really crucial area. With Ethereum and Solana, you know, we've got a bit more room to play. You know, we've got at least, you know, at minimum 2,660 as resistance. Obviously, we can go all the way up to 2,700. And again, we're going to have good support at 2,600 if we can hold it. So we've got a good $100 range for Ethereum to kind of play into and kind of sit here. I definitely think we're going to need a bit of a relax mode for Ethereum and Solana, you know, as we see Bitcoin do its thing. But yeah, as I see it, I think the reason why I spend the majority of time on Bitcoin is because both like Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin, the market normally really moves collectively. Obviously, unless it's a new coin or a meme coin, this or the other, or an altcoin. Not an altcoin, but it's in, you know what I mean. But obviously, with Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's a bit similar or dissimilar, you know, and Solana and Ethereum, because it's got equilibriums at different price points. But if I go into Solana, I reckon the Ethereum and Solana price charts are very, very similar. Yeah, pretty much. Solana's gone up a bit more in terms of surpassing its equilibrium. I think we were already surpassing our equilibrium by the time we saw Ethereum having difficulty. But what I do need to do, though, is expand this along. There we go. So you can see we've already had the equilibrium surpass and the really nice, lovely bounce off of the top of equilibrium. Really good, really, really good here. So now what we're doing, we are surpassing these areas. So break a block, resistance, bang, flip, support, come upwards. We've also got another one, I think, here, which is actually... Okay, the reason we've got past this green one so well, I think I mentioned this last stream, the reason we've got past this green one so well is because it wasn't actually a breaker block, so we never came back to test it. And I remember explicitly mentioning this wick never came to this area. So it means the reason why, if you were wondering why we just came right back above this green one, is because we never came to test it as a breaker block, which means it wasn't a true breaker block, which obviously allowed us to, obviously, we came back to this one. So obviously resistance, bang, support. So this one is good. We are now in a good scenario, because okay, to be fair though, it is a breaker block, so we flipped it nicely to be support. But with this green one, we never came back to test it, so it wasn't a resistance to begin with, which means we surpassed it really nicely, and we're using it as support again. So it was an all block the entire time. So this is really, really good for Solana. Really, really good. Just looking again, where are we now? So we're in liquidity void right now. So we don't really have a lot going on in this area. This is kind of just like a handy dandy area. But next up is going to be fair value gap areas, and order block and projection blocks up here. So yeah, but obviously, if you don't have a lot going on, like especially with liquidity voids, a lot of the time you just find support resistance at both lines at 157 and 154. So as you can see back here as well, it was followed pretty nicely. Obviously, we did have wicks above. But you can see it's majoritively, you know, a lot of them are bounces off of these lines here. So we're probably going to see a bit of resistance at $157 as per some of these, you know, wicks up here. But again, we should be in a bit of a clear area right now for Solana, getting very close to this high point, $161. To get to this rejection block, which I think we're going to see resistance at. But let's go to the 81, which I think is a bit bigger of a area. But we have a lot more going on. So we're in all block area right now. We're currently in all block area. If I go to daily, I want to see. There's no true order blocks right now. I'm just trying to look at what we're going on. Also, to be fair as well, we had a fair value gap in the fair value gap area. You can see this is a fair value gap here. This is rejection block, order block, fair value gap. You can see this is within the fair value gap area, so it is truly respected here. You can see the midpoint, or near the midpoint. Obviously, you found resistance at this breaker block here, so that makes sense. But just trying to back up this fair value gap and why it was followed through so nicely. But again, like I said, I don't really see a lot above us apart from this rejection block. There's not really too much going on. Obviously, we do have... actually, what range are we on? Like, to be fair, though, we do have some things here. We do have this. Whoops. You can see, you know, support, bang, flip, bang, resistance. So we do actually have one here. Here we go. Okay, we found something. So you can see, real nice, actually, on this here. So we are technically in order block area. Which don't necessarily get... Oh, they can get flipped, because you wouldn't move anywhere if you couldn't flip an order block. But we have actually found another order block as well, where we are right now. So a negative order block, following this negative order block. So we've kind of got a double whammy going on right here. So we do have some resistance really close by where we are right now. And you can see, as we respectively go to the 30-minute, you can see we formed it, came down, midpoint resistance. So we kind of have a range right now, as I see it right now. I do think we're going to flip this as the market continues to do what it does. I definitely think we can flip these areas because especially this order block. If we see the history of this order block, I think it's on the 4-hour. You can see, formed it, support, support, flipped it, came up, flipped it again, resistance. We kind of had a bit of a back and forth with this one, so I don't think this is too strong. So in terms of that regard, I think we can definitely break above it. Don't know how strong this order block's going to be, to be fair, but we barely have a fair value gap in this area. So I'm not saying, I don't know if this is going to be a good fair value gap. Again, remembering, rejection blocks, order blocks, fair value gaps. You can see this candle is roughly in this area, so I'd want to wager a guess to say there could be an area here. So what I will do, I'm going to draw a little area, actually. Draw a little area here where we could see potential for a bit of support. So we could see a retracement to this area, which also lines up with this midpoint of this order block. So we could see a retracement to midpoint of order block at $154, and then we could come back up to here. So if we do a lower low here, or lower high, sorry, it might mean we kind of have a bit of difficulty doing our thing. But then what we could do, if we do have that, we do a lower low, we could have a bit of a bull flag going into this, which then could hopefully pump us up towards this rejection block. But either way, if we do have the lower, these lower lows, our move upwards is only really going to see $160 before we see resistance again. But as we need to pay attention, we need to pay attention to what the market's doing, which is as a potential. If Bitcoin surpasses its 66.3 mark, we could see highs of 68k. So if we see that, we will expect another market pump, really big market pump as well, up towards 68.3 in a general, which obviously would then mean whatever it might be for Solana, which I probably should draw some more ranges for. We could see a definite big high going on there. What I probably should do, I probably should draw another thing here, but or another range of this caliber up, but I can't bother right now. So yeah, that's what I can kind of see for Solana right now, is we potentially have a fair value gap. It's not truly in the range. I will probably ignore this actually. So it probably will be something where we come back into this fair value gap, or this order block, sorry, at some arbitrary value, and then we could start to form maybe a bull flag before we come upwards again. AKA we basically cool off before we pump again. In layman's kind of ideology or whatever. So yeah, I'll see right now. We've got a bit of a range going on. I definitely think we could, especially this orange one at $157. I definitely think we can break it. I don't really think we have too much difficulty because it is a pretty choppy order block. It's not too strong. Obviously, previously we have seen resistance before, but it is technically, if we go back to it, it is technically, oh no. You can see we formed it and then flipped it immediately and then used it as support and then flipped it in resistance. So it's supposed to be resistance, but it has been used as support. So it's a bit choppy. And again, it isn't technically a breaker block. So I don't think we'll see too much strength in that at all. I don't think we're going to see too much resistance there. I think we might cool off a tiny bit and then come upwards and surpass it. So yeah, we'll see as we go. But that's what I currently have for Solana. That's what I currently have for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Obviously, I'm going to go back to Bitcoin actually, just to end off the stream, see what's going on. Come back into where we are right now. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go on the higher range actually. I just want to show this. Oh no, is it this one? Is it? There we go. I'll just show this chart, which comes up to this 68 area. So there we go. So this is what I can see for Bitcoin. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Obviously, we've actually seen really nice two highs here. You can see, like, even before we had these obviously we did have pumps here. You can see before this one especially, see resistance here, resistance at this top line, resistance roughly at the top line, obviously wicking upwards, resistance at the rough top line, having difficulty in the middle, resistance not even near the top line at this red line. So we do have a lot of different areas where we see major resistance at these at this midpoint, which is again 68.3 to 69 area here. So obviously it is going to be, I don't think we have 68.3 on this line here. And to be fair, this is a higher range. So again, as I said, higher ranges they expand the order blocks out, or not the range, the equilibriums out. So you can see on the 6561, you can see especially here how accurate it is. you can see these two red lines are the range above equilibrium. But you can see both the lines line up with the two outer rims. So we do have to bear in mind, you know, that not only is it going to be the smaller lines, it's also the two wider ranges. But regardless, anyway, I've yapped. Let's see what happens. I definitely think we're going to see 68.3 very soon if we can break above these lines. Hopefully we can. I'm excited. I think we're going to do pretty well. And yeah, let's see what the chat's saying. With a suit, yeah, I'll look great in a suit, man. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you, all of you for joining. It's 10 past 10, but I did start like 5. Where's the stream gone? There we go. It is 10 past 10, but I did start the stream, you know, 5 or 7 minutes a bit later. So I'm pretty much on time. So, and to be fair, I did do a bit more yapping at the end of here. So I think we're pretty much on time. So I think that's a pretty good stream. Appreciate all of you for joining. I haven't done the Binance chat. Hopefully, if anyone said hello in the Binance chat, hello to you. If anyone's begged in the Binance chat, don't come back, leave. And while you're down there and while you're doing whatever you're doing, go to the description. Really useful links down there, especially the Twitter and the Telegram. That's where we all are on the Twitter, or on Telegram, sorry, and on Twitter. Announcements, different videos, this, that, the other. Twitter's very, 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 very good to follow. So, my suggestion. I'll be back streaming. We're doing something tomorrow. Well, not a stream, but we're doing something tomorrow. So we're not doing that. It probably might be Thursday actually, because I don't know if we're doing anything Wednesday. Also, I'll get back to you guys on that. But it might be Thursday, Friday, you know, something like that. Hopefully by then, we should see a resolvement in what we're doing. I mean, to be fair, again, sometimes I underestimate the power that Bitcoin has and the potential of it to really, really run. Or I also sometimes overestimate it and we do crab a bit. But, you know, I think by Thursday we hopefully should see a resolvement either on the positive side or the negative side. So by then I should have enough to talk about to, you know, continue onwards. So we'll see. If something really big happens and I'm not streaming, I'll post something in Telegram. But other than that, good stream, mate. Take care. Take care to yourself, KB. We should definitely do some stream. I mean, I've always thought about this, like, to get someone on the stream, like wherever it be, either it be a TA stream or like a conversational stream or whatever, or get the community involved with the streams. Everything would be really, really cool. So yeah, definitely should do something like that. Danny, great show. I appreciate you. Mags, shout out to you. Thank you, all of you. Yeah, Mike has COVID. Yeah, as well, Mike has COVID. Or something along those lines. Can I say that? It doesn't matter. He's ill, okay? He's ill with something. I don't know what it is. He's ill. So I don't know if he's going to be streaming tomorrow. He might post a video. I don't know if he posted a video. I think he might post a video today. I can't remember. I don't know. But he's an absolute. He's a whirling machine. Okay, which just post and post and post and this and the other. So, thank you, Treat. Thank you to you, man. Appreciate you all joining. I'll be back Thursday, probably Thursday, where hopefully I should have enough to talk about in terms of, you know, the resolvement of if we're above or below these areas, and we should see 65 or 68.3 and whatnot. So. Hopefully we see that. Hopefully we see that. I'm excited. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate you all. And I'll see you when I see you, which might be Thursday, whatever. And until then, take care of yourselves. Good luck. None of what I said is financial advice. Proper risk management is very important. And yeah, thank you. See you next time. Goodbye.